What up, what up, what up, what up? Y'all already know what it is, man. Y'all boy back in the building for Kalaha podcast, man, where we about to talk about different shit, different topics. Without further ado, man, let's get into this shit, man. All right, y'all. Right now it's a thing going on about these motherfucking debate about whether or not public schools is a good thing or charter schools is the good thing, though. So right now the debate is public schools versus charter schools. All my life, man, I always busted, been to public schools. Never thought about a private school or nothing like that. They always made private schools like you had to be like your mother and them had to have money or some shit or something, or they was just too better than the rest of us. But overall, though, I just think that for the most part, the teachers was paid less, and they gave us teachers that too much didn't really care whether we passed or failed. And it wasn't like nobody was really working hard with us and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Unlike the, private schools and all that and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Those schools that's way out in the suburbs and such. So I got a little video topic today, man, and this with Roland Martin and his panel, and they getting to talk about these private schools and such, and versus public schools. So without further ado, let's get into this, though. Let me throw up this disclaimer. All right, y'all, let's get into this shit, man. Like I said, y'all go ahead and like and subscribe, hit that bell button and shit, man. And without further ado, let's get into this video.
Folks, welcome back to News One Now. Look, I'm a huge person, huge advocate when it comes to education. And for me, what is happening right now with our kids is an abomination, especially African Americans. And so we have this unbelievable debate going on right now. It's, well, we shouldn't have charter schools. We should only support public schools. But what's interesting about that is you rarely ever hear as a part of that conversation, what's best for the kids? What's really best for the kids? And so one of the things that I have been focused on is what I call school choice, the black choice. And so what you have going on in Maryland, you got a new Republican governor, Larry Hogan, who's vowed to change the way charter schools work in the state. You have the state of Alabama. They recently passed charter schools as well. And so why can't we support what works? Traditional school works, study it, replicate it. The charter school works, study it, replicate it. Why do we somehow have to have division when it comes to education? Let's break it down right now. Kenneth Campbell, activist and founding board member of the Black Alliance for Educational Options, one of the nation's foremost authorities on education and the best interest for education for African Americans. Also on the show, we have to my left, we have Robert Woodson, president and founder of the Center for Neighborhood Enterprise, Angela Rye, principal and CEO of Impact Strategies, and Paris Denard, GOP political and communications strategist. Kenneth, I want to start with you because it's interesting. I was down in Selma, and I had several people come up to me, pastors. There was an individual who was a state official, and he said, and they came to me and they said, how do we deal with this charter school thing? Because it got passed, and you got black folks who are upset. And I went, okay, they're upset about charter schools, but are they upset about the horrible education a lot of these black kids are getting? I don't understand why this is freaking us out as if this is the end of education as we know it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely.
The difference is because I don't know why most black men that get education and all that don't realize what's going on and stuff, which I know he do, but the reason why black people is uptight about this because now it's like we got to go further out to be schooled, and these kids got to go way out. So if that's the case, then why not bring them type of teachers that's doing all this shit at these other schools out in the suburbs, bring them down here and teach, and let's just see how that work out and stuff. Maybe it ain't the teachers. Maybe it's the environment. Maybe it's the way the kids is brought up, poor, just really not into school. It's a lot of things that cloud kids' mind, man. Like, school is not even fun for real. Like, I could see, honestly, if they was paying the kids, even from preschool on up, man. But they ain't doing nothing to excite these kids, man. So that's really the main thing. And plus, like I said, it got a lot to do with your upbringing. If my parents was rich or comfortable, stable, I believe I would have graduated from a public school. If a lot of my friends and they mothers and them was like a nice, stable, 100,000 a year type of living, they would be able to function, and their kids probably would be something totally different and stuff. So it really got nothing to do with the education. It's more of the environment and your upbringing, though.
There are a lot of people, though, it's important to know, who are incredibly excited. And parents, there are a lot of community leaders who are excited in Alabama. They never thought it would get done. But now we have the ability to bring some new schools to Alabama, give educators a new tool to help kids. And I really don't believe that this should be as controversial as it is right now. What we're talking about is giving communities and educators opportunities to create great new schools. And our kids desperately need them.
Well, it's interesting. 2009. I was on Air Force One with President Obama. We were going to the NAACP convention in New York. And I brought up vouchers. He had, of course, they got rid of the DC Opportunity Scholarship just as he came in. And he said, Roland, if all kids could get vouchers, I would support that. I said, well, Mr. President, wait a minute. I said, you support charter schools, and all kids can't go to some charter schools. I said, you support magnet schools. All kids can't go to all magnet schools. I said, so why is it that you support these two things, but you don't support this thing? That's what bothers me when people are having this debate. And I think for too many black folks, we have allowed black politicians, even civil rights organizations, to frame this as if somehow this is the end of the world as we know it, when I think the end of the world for us is when our kids not getting educated.
Right. Roland, you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, this is not about what the Republicans think, what Democrats think, or what special interest groups or unions think. This has to be about what the parents think as it relates to the educating of their children. And when you look at the numbers and the statistics, our children are just not learning. And this is, if you want to talk about a civil rights issue, this is one that all civil rights organizations, all community organizations should rally around, fixing the public school system. And if charter schools happen to be the way to help a majority or less than a majority of our students learn and achieve, this has to be put on the table.
Angela, what kills me also, I went to public schools my entire life. Okay, I maybe drove by a private school, but never walked into one. I rode buses from the third grade all the way through. I was a senior in college, and it's very interesting to me when I travel around this country. When you start talking to parents and kids, it's a whole different conversation than the one that you see among black elites.
Right.
So I think, and I don't think that you can just label black elites. I don't know how you would define that.
I'll tell you. Nearly every black civil rights group. I'll tell you many folks in black academia, and I'll tell you many black politicians. And there's this battle that's going on where you literally have black politicians who are dogging charters, who are dogging vouchers, who are dogging school choice, but many of their constituents are going to some of the worst schools. And I'm going, okay, who are you actually repping for?
I guess the reason why I asked you to define that is because I don't think that that's the case for that cadre of people across the board. I think that this is an issue where people are split. I'm split on it. What I think we really need to do is take a step back and figure out what are all of the problems that exist. What do we do that's best for the kids? I
don't know what point she about to make or whatever, but she right. Let's take a step back for a second. Just like I just mentioned, man. Why is the kids not interested in school? Why is they not going to school, or why is they not passing the grades and such? Let's think about it. If I was a kid that had everything I want growing up, nice shoes, clothes, a mother, father that definitely wanted to see the best out of me because they were so successful as well, then of course, mostly 9 times out of 10, I would be a success though. But let's take a kid that gets evicted, mother on drugs, father on drugs, gotta fend for itself, end up start selling drugs, going to jail. Even though it's always a choice in life, but sometimes circumstances bring you to circumstances, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was always a guy that always was getting a job and shit all my life, most likely I'm gonna always be that type of person. But if I indulged in the street life and smoking weed and selling drugs, it's gonna be a habit that I like, and I know what gets me by and the money and all that. So that's where I'm gonna be at with it and stuff. Like, so it's the upbringing. I think that these people, black people, whoever, need to put more money into homes of the poor, meaning more food stamps. I'm talking about, like, even if a mother or father is working, they not making a lot of money for real. Get them like $1,000, $1,500 in food stamps to work with, even if they is getting paid a lot of money. Boost up, get them an extra check from the government to help along with extra stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of stuff y'all can do to help the cause, you know what I'm saying, to get the monkey off a lot of people back and stuff. So it got a lot to do with the surrounding circumstances and upbringing, like, you know.
How do we ensure that there are standards across the board in our core curriculum at elementary and secondary schools? Our kids are not globally competitive across the board, especially black kids. There's a disparate impact on black children. So what do you do to ensure that they're competitive? I know that if I was a parent, I'm not yet, but if I was a parent, I want to do whatever's best for my kids, and that's what my mom did for me. I went to public school for 1 year and then for 4 years in college, and the law school was private. Like, and that's just a circumstance, but 1st through 12th grade was private school for me, and there were times where my private school felt short. So my mom figured out ways to shore up my curriculum to ensure that I would continue to be competitive. And sometimes parents don't have that opportunity to do that.
Bob.
I think you're right. There's a big contradiction here and hypocrisy. If you look at the polls in the black community, it is split. Civil rights leaders to a person do not send their kids to schools.
Right.
Jesse Jackson, Eleanor Holmes Norton, I can go down the whole list. None of them send their kids to public schools in D.C.
Yep.
They do not do that. And also the public schools in Washington have a higher per capita expenditures than any school anywhere, and we're 48th in outcomes for kids. So there's no correlation between how much we spend and outcomes for kids. The Center for Disease Control a few years ago said that 10% of Washington, D.C.'s middle schoolers attempted suicide. There are 4,000 kids. That's more than one a day. So this is a tremendous crisis, and what low-income parents are asking for, give them the same choice that upper-income blacks are able to exercise because they have the money.
I'm going to a break right now. When we come back, we're going to pick up on this, but also I want to talk.
And he fucking absolutely right. Give us a choice. Give us, if we had the same upbringing as these white folks or these uppity black people, like, I'm pretty sure the outcome would be is not even more, but even better, like, down here and shit, man. It's so much fucking untapped potential in the ghetto, in the hood, man. Motherfuckers is good football players, basketball players, rappers, singers, artists, fucking construction, auto mechanics. Like, it's, the list goes on, man. Like, all the untapped potential in the hood, just because a lot of people fell short of education and shit. Like, so, like I said, man, of course the black people is split. It's always going to be about blacks and stuff, because we never get the fair chance, the fair shake or nothing. Like, it just always, they try to put us in the background and shit, man. But black people got to start, come on, y'all, let's do this shit, man. Let's get there, y'all. You see how they playing us and shit, man. With that being said, man, I'm out of here, man. FAKALAHA, man. I'm out.